Yo, have you seen this?
No, what?
Yeah, it's this new app called Threads.
What is in the news?
So apparently Instagram created it.
Oh, great. Another social media platform.
I know, right? And now I've got another app that I gotta manage. Yeah, but let's be real. How many people are actually gonna use it? But if you look at this, Zuckerberg says that there's over 100 million signups. Are you serious? That's crazy. So now for my event, I've got to post on Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, Twitter, LinkedIn, Snapchat, Pinterest, TikTok, and now I've got to post on Threads? Come on. Well, event planners, that's a little bit dramatic, but here's the thing, is that Threads is a brand new app and it is here to stay. Yes, it is created by the same creators of Instagram, and yes, it's owned by Meta, which also owns Facebook. So that means it is instantly a competitive player because in the first few days, just over the course of a weekend, there were 100 million new users on this app. Why? Because there are tons of celebrities and tons of brands and tons of influencers that have large followings on Instagram that moved over to Threads, and as soon as they signed up, they were triggered by getting even more followers. And so it's a great way if you already have Instagram to have a conversation with followers. And so here's a couple of quick thoughts for you if you are anywhere in the event planning world. Maybe you're not an event planner, but you're someone who plans events, an event executive assistant or entrepreneur or someone like that, and you are planning events and you're thinking about using Threads. Here's some more things to think about. The first thing to think about is number one, how to have a conversation with your audience. Now, if you manage an event or if you manage a brand and you have not previously started a Twitter account, but you want to have more conversations and have even more social media engagement with your following, then Threads could be a great example and a great option for you. Now, this is if you already have a following on Instagram. So if you have a following on Instagram, it is incredibly easy to bring that following over to Threads. The reason why is because A, they own Instagram, is the creator of Threads, and B, if you have an Instagram account and you open up your Threads account, then it's automatically going to ask you if you want to follow everybody that you're already following on Instagram. So if you have followers that have created a Threads account and they have said yes, and you come over and you create a Threads account, well then your followers that are on Instagram are going to start following you on Threads. So you're not starting 100% from zero. The second thing to think about is this might be a great opportunity to do something you've never done before. Now, there are going to be some people who just refuse to have a Twitter account, but they have an Instagram account and they want to have different kinds of engagements with different brands. So they're going to start using Threads in the same way that they would use Twitter, which is to have conversations and to talk with their brands, with the influencers, and with the different people. So what you can do is you can leverage this new way of having a conversation where you also don't have to be creating a square image or a reel or something along those lines to be posted on Instagram. You can simply just stick to text posts. So maybe a couple of lines or maybe a little bit longer. Maybe it is an actual thread where it's groups of conversations and you're posting an entire how-to something, and then you're having a conversation with your audience. The third thing to think about is that some people who will never follow you on Twitter, they're just not interested in following you on Twitter, but they will follow you on Threads. So you can have a conversation with them there. The fourth thing to think about is that this is obviously another marketing channel for you to promote your event to a new audience. And here's how you can do that. If you have keynote speakers that you're hiring, you can create Threads specific content for them to post. And if they have a large Instagram following, there's a good chance that they're going to be using Threads actively because of what I've already outlined. They've already seen the numbers. They've already seen people come over. And so they have a new way to interact with their audience. So you can leverage that by creating content for them to post on Threads. The fifth thing to think about for Threads is that if you do not already have a large Instagram following and you don't want to focus on a brand new social media channel, nah, honey, I'm good. And if you already have a following on Twitter, but not on Instagram, then it doesn't really make sense for you to go and create a brand new account unless you just want to go over and reserve your handle. But some marketing people believe that that can hurt you in the long run. So it might not be best for you to go on Threads at all. Now, the sixth thing to think about as you consider Threads as a new social platform is what can you actually post on the app. So simply by scrolling, I can see that I can obviously post text. In this text, I can put emojis. Maybe those are to capture people's attentions. I can also scroll through and I can see that, okay, there are people posting images on here. Now these images, if you post more than one, they're going to scroll in a horizontal fashion, and you can see more than one image at a time. And then not only that, but if you keep scrolling, eventually you'll find that some people are posting videos as well. Now, these videos are probably following the most social media recommendations, which is to have captions on them also, and they're probably just downloaded Reels or downloaded TikToks and things like that. So these are some of the things to be considering of what content you can post on Threads. The seventh thing to think about when considering using Threads is where you can send your Threads content to. Here's what I mean by this, is if you post something on Threads, let's say you post an image, or let's say you post a text, you can go to your post, you can hit the little send button, which is like the little paper airplane, and you can either add it to a story on Instagram, post it to a feed on Instagram, or you can tweet it, which is really just tweeting out a link, which Twitter actually even penalizes you for. And then the eighth and final thing to think about for event planners, event professionals, and event brands when considering Threads is to consider the pros and the cons of each. Number one is if you are going to post images to Threads, think about the way in which you do that. So you're going to post them and you can scroll through horizontally, which I personally think is better than on Twitter. The second pro, which is really for both, is that short written content is going to go well. So if you already have a Twitter account and you're already creating short ones, well, it might be easier for you just to copy and paste and post it on Threads. A pro when considering Twitter is that Twitter has Twitter Spaces, which if you're an event brand, you can host a Twitter Spaces where your speakers can come and you can do like a pre-event interview or a post-event interview or a post-event recap. You can do it all live with audio, and then it's then recorded and available in the app. And that is a feature that is definitely not on Threads right now. A pro in the Threads column is that Threads has no advertisements. Something that Threads also does not have, that does not put it in the pro column, but it puts it in the cons column, is that it does not have hashtags. So discoverability on Threads is going to be based upon people's comments, based upon people rethreading or reposting your post. And so discoverability might be pretty low on Threads. And then finally, a pro in the Threads column is that onboarding is very, very easy if you have an audience that is already on Instagram. Now this is obviously the early version of Threads, so there's probably more features to come and probably more changes to come, but I have two questions for you. Number one is, what did I miss? And number two is, what do you think about Threads? Have you used it? Have you not used it? Post in the comments below. And if you like cutting edge technology and cutting edge apps just like Threads, then be sure to check out this video where I talk about different ways in which you can use artificial intelligences to help you be more productive at your event planning process.